Joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast is going to be Oakland County Commissioner Marcia Gershenson. She is with the District 13, which includes part of Farmington Hills, Bloomfield, and West Bloomfield. You were first elected in 2004. You easily win your next term. Thank you so much for being with us on the Oakland County Megacast.
Well, thank you, Ronnie. It's so great to be here. I've interviewed before with Tyler and Larry, but I don't think we have interviewed before.
No, I've been here just kind of sitting on the sidelines for a little while until we learn things here at the Oakland County Megacast. And Commissioner, you do have a lot of experience. Do you think that's a benefit for you going into the next 4 years of your term?
Oh, absolutely. Well, unfortunately, my next term is 2 years.
2 years.
And
My
that's a
apologies.
real,
My apologies.
that's okay. I wish it was 4. It's a real fault with the system. We follow the election cycle of the House of Representatives, and all this was determined over 300 years ago, and it really could use an update because running every 2 years, you work for a year and you run for a year, and it's costly. It's a disservice to the voters. So I would definitely be somebody who would support a longer term, but I have loved my term. And when you talk about experience, I just want to step back a second because I've listened to your interviews, and I wanted to comment on my friend Steve Kaplan, who's done an amazing job in West Bloomfield. I've represented probably 8 or 9 different local communities, cities, villages, or townships, and there's usually a cycle. Sometimes the board functions well, sometimes it doesn't function as well. And the energy and positive attitude that Steve Kaplan has brought to West Bloomfield is just contagious. I'm really proud of him, and I think that he's doing a great job. And then to kind of segue onto my friend, our new county exec, Dave Coulter, I was actually board chair when we made the decision and the appointment to appoint Dave as our county exec. And one of the reasons that we did is exactly what you've now seen and what the voters now appreciate is his incredible clear-headedness and straightforward thinking. He's not a partisan person, and he has such great experience, and he has really led the community. And in many ways, he's led the state in our fight against COVID. And I certainly do share with him our concern about how the numbers are rising. But I can tell you it's been a great joy to work with Dave and his administration moving our county forward, which is a goal for all of us.
You easily beat your opponent, Republican Max Rothbart. Knowing that, what do you want to say about the whole political process in general? What would you like to see changed?
Well, I, for one, think that the county commission position. I work and I have pledged to work with my Republican colleagues very well together and moving forward, that we try to eliminate the partisanness that often creeps in. I think that it's a time for Americans to come together. It's a time for residents, like Executive Coulter said. I was at the polls yesterday too, and I represent Bloomfield Township. Used to be a Republican community, and when I was first elected, it was 53-47 Republican, and I was the first Democrat ever elected as commission. Now today we have, I think, the first supervisor in Bloomfield Township that's a Dem, and the first clerk that's a Dem. So things are definitely trending Democratic, but I am someone who really wants to work with both sides of the aisle. You mentioned our sheriff. I have a great relationship with Sheriff Bouchard and a lot of respect for him. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to doing this year, is to really focus on community policing and addressing some of the issues that have come to the front over the last year related, or last few years actually, related to policing.
This past year has been like no other. And even with you being a very experienced county commissioner, I'm sure there were a lot of challenges with the COVID-19 crisis. What is your goal going forward, and how to address the economic fallout from COVID-19?
Well, like Executive Coulter said, this has actually been my favorite term. It's kind of hard to say because it's been such a stressful year for everyone. But my experience has never been more relevant than during this crisis. And we've noticed at the county where certain employees really react well to stress and trauma and difficult times. It's easy to succeed when things are good. But when things are tough, you've really got to dig in. And even though we've been meeting virtually, I've never worked harder. I get calls from all over the county trying to help people get their Social Security. We have given out over $219 million in COVID federal money, and we are doing everything we can to try and support our small businesses. I talk to local small businesses daily, and I would really encourage everyone that's listening to use our small businesses rather than ordering online to help us reinvigorate our economy. So I'm feeling very strong, very grateful for my experience, because when you get a question, I know where to go. I can't always get the right answer, the answer that the voters want, but I know how to navigate the system, which is cumbersome. Unfortunately, government is cumbersome and slow. And if you have somebody you can rely on to call to help you, that's one of the things I enjoy the most about my job.
And what's that been like, though, for you during the last, 6-8 months? So when you've received so many more calls, what has the workload been for you over this time, right? Do you get any
really
sleep?
I mean, I've never worked this hard, but I'm loving it because this is a direct one-on-one where actually it's not a theory. You're actually impacting someone's life, a family that's struggling to have food, a family that really never expected to be out of work, to be laid off, to be furloughed. We have a lot of work to do, but I want to also commend our economic development team, which has just introduced a new economic development plan for Oakland County. And I would really recommend you have them on your show to talk about how we're going to invigorate and diversify our county during and after COVID.
Marcia Gershenson with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is the Oakland County Commissioner for District 13, easily winning re-election in the latest election yesterday. And with that, Marcia, I have to ask, our country right now does seem so divisive. And while you easily won, so many of these races are very, very close. We still don't know the outcome of the presidency. What do you want the people of Oakland County to know about trying to unify and unite our community?
It's just incumbent upon all of us to do everything we can. And I have to give a shout out to my opponent. He was very gracious, and I've known him for a long time, and we talk on the phone. He's a young, upcoming Republican and someone who's got great ideas, and that I look forward to working with. I just think we've got to get rid of the R&D mindset. Sure, there are social issues where we'll never agree on, but fiscally, I think Democrats often get pigeonholed as being fiscally irresponsible. I know that my focus is really always what's the bottom line here, what's the financial impact of something. I think we could work so much better together, and that is the message that I am bringing to all the newly electeds, is that we've the divisiveness has been horribly upsetting, and we need to move forward together.
Knowing that, as you just mentioned, your opponent, a young guy, 29, he is a law student. But what have you seen come out of this election with the younger generation? Do you feel like they are more engaged because of what they've seen happen during this latest election cycle?
That's an interesting question. I am one of the people that recruits candidates, and I'm very proud of the 2020 Democratic team that we had, a lot of young people. And we are really looking to build that farm club. And it's not easy. Politics and running for election can be very grueling. I personally have always pledged to run a really clean campaign. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way, and who doesn't have issues that they don't want to come to the public knowledge? So I think that we've just got to continue respecting and listening to one another and trying to do what's best for the county. That is not a partisan thing. That is moving the county forward, keeping the taxes low, keeping them where they are, and keeping our services as high as people have come to expect.
Marcia, we so appreciate your time. We know you've had a late night, but also thank you for trying to inspire the younger generation as well, because they are going to be the leaders of our county, our school boards, and our elected offices going forward. And we need people with your experience to kind of show them the ropes. So thank you so much for that, and congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to next time.